Here is a 2024 Infiniti QX60 Sensory in moonbow blue over saddle leather interior. What's the difference between the Sensory, other trims, some comparable rivals with pros and cons? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to explain the sweet spot to the QX60, starting with the auto leveling adaptive LED headlights and daytime runnings that go into the signature front grille, and the design is a folded inner mesh. This was influenced by the Japanese heritage with the Infiniti script underneath it and chrome bar on top that goes into the gloss black elements that's in the side air pocket, front and rear parking sensors with the 360-degree reverse camera, 7.5 inches of clearance is on all of the trims. Underneath the hood is a 3.5-liter V6 producing 295 horsepower with 270 pound-feet of torque paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission. What Infiniti did from the last gen to this was change out that CVT, which everyone complained about, in which it makes the drive a lot more athletic. You're still achieving 20 mpgs for the city and 25 mpgs for the highway because this is the all-wheel drive, which also unlocks 6,000 pounds of towing, whereas the two-wheel drive 3,500 pounds. When you get into the Sensory and Autograph, you're getting the upgraded 20-inch multi-spoke machine finish alloy wheels with the standard 18-inch wheel. Matte black finishes go around the fenders, so it kind of gives a little bit more of a off-roadsy look, but then they go back to their heritage with the chrome. That gets the Infiniti badging on the lower trim and chrome around all of the window trims. Satin aluminum for the roof rails and the crossbars with the obsidian black that's on the side view mirror caps that's power folding, and you get the LED turn signals that's integrated. What I do like about the side though is the third window goes into the rear, giving that long length visually because of all the gloss black aesthetics. Chrome that's on the door handles in between the paint, and when you're thinking Infiniti, luxury comes into mind opposed to the Nissan Pathfinder, which would be more of that sporty look. But me personally, if you haven't watched my review, I did a chrome delete on the whole side, so it makes it look a lot more athletic. LED turn signals are standard, and the lower gets the fake exhaust outlets. They're painted the same color as the body, and here is the big issue that I have with the exterior. It does look athletic and a lot more sporty, but just give me some exhaust outlets. I mean, we're still packing a V6 underneath the hood, where most variants are starting to go into turbo 4s. Nissan and Infiniti is still giving us a bigger power option. When you go into the Sensory and Autograph, you're getting the digital rear view mirror, which is going to be housed right here. So the amenities start coming into this tier. When you go down to Lux, still get the 360-degree reverse camera, front and rear parking sensors, and the ability to tow up to 6,000 pounds. Going into the tailgate, I think it's kind of cheeky what Infiniti did. Underneath the in is the actual button. You get it? You're gonna go into your cargo. But you also have motion or kick to open. We'll get a 12-volt charger, storage underneath the floor. You can fold the back or third row seats at a 60-40 split. That's going to increase cargo to 41.6 cubic feet. You can also electronically fold these up for the Sensory and the Autograph. Unfortunately, to put the second row down to increase the cargo to 75.4, you got to go back here and fold them down. They will fold down flat for the bench at a 60-40 split. We need to go inside, start it up so you can hear that exhaust note. Fourteen-way power seat adjustment, leather appointed, heated, ventilated massage is going to be for the Sensory. You get the contrast stitching, perforated, memory for the driver and passenger, headroom, and legroom. It's going to be the same on all trims. Driver focus setup. The difference is going to be the dash. Here it's flat, you get the wood inlays. With the 12.3 touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio with the upgraded Bose sound system. Put it into reverse and a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory around the vehicle. going into a touchpad with tri-climate control settings, QI wireless charging pad, and a key fob for the QX60. Driving mode select, which when you change that, you have personal, sport, eco, and auto. Auto hold, so you don't have to push the brake whenever you're at a stoplight. It'll hold it for you. This can also go for your infotainment screen instead of using the touch. It's going to be more soft. Opens up into a deep storage pocket with some card holders, a 12-volt pin holder, and another area for cards. Leather-wrapped steering wheel, heated, multi-function, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, the paddle shifts, and the gauge cluster is a digital reader that can be reconfigured, and it can go through an array of information for the driver with a heads-up display, auto dimming rear view mirror with the digital rear view mirror, which is part of the vision, which also adds the adaptive headlights, a large panel moonroof that goes to the second row, and the door is going to get the satin aluminum that goes into the wood. It's going to be soft to touch, one touch up and down for the windows. I like the mesh inlays for the Bose sound system, and a medium-sized storage pocket with the beverage holder carved out. Headroom and leg room. You will sit up a little bit higher than the front. Third climate control, heated second row seats, USB home plug, storage behind both of the front seats, armrests with cup holders, and the pano more or less goes to the back seats. The door panel starts with manual sunshades, and you're going to have the same materials that's found in the front, satin aluminum with the darker wood inlays, one touch up and down with the contrast stitching Bose sound system, in an area that you can fit at least 2 beverages. Sliding to the center, the floor is flat, so feet space isn't bad. I kind of wish this hump wasn't here because it would make it a little bit more optimal, but butt shoulder is actually pretty good for the size of this vehicle. And the same thing with head. Enter to the third row, push the button, it's going to slide forward. Entering for 2 more with a little storage tray in between, cup holders and USB on both sides, air vents in the ceiling. Behind the driver is really the optimal area because you have more feet space because of the rails. Even though this is kind of pushed up and gives a hump, you got to go like this. Therefore, it would be a little tight sitting with the third row. But headroom isn't actually that bad. And you can recline these back. 3.5 liter V6, 295 reasons why I'm going to show you how 270 pound-feet of torque is going to feel in the QX60. As soon as we go through here, we're gonna straighten it up. It's not too bad in weight distribution, 56, 50, or 44. Here we go. It's smooth, it's comfortable, composed, interior keeps it quiet. It's not gonna be Audi quiet, but that's going to be about $10,000 more, and that's a 2.0 turbocharge, whereas this is a V6. It doesn't necessarily matter if it's faster or slower because tenths of a second is not gonna be a huge difference when you're at a stoplight. My thing is, if you are considering a Q7, is you are kind of downgrading with performance because horsepower and torque is a little bit less out of the turbocharge. And interior, third row is going to be a lot more tight. Going against something more comparable like Acura and Lexus, the RX 350, very tight for the third row. Go into the new TX, and that's a bargain deal because it starts around 55 grand. But then it's a longer vehicle too, and towing is going to be less. You only have 5,000 pounds. Here you got 6,000 pounds. As for Acura, they do have a Type S. It's going to start going into the high 70s, near $80,000 to get the full-blown performance. Otherwise, hate to say it, I would probably option the Honda Pilot because they have increased horsepower by 5, which I know it's not a lot, but the storage is actually better in the Pilot than the Acura. As for different trims, it is tier-based, so they're doing something similar to Honda, and Toyota is going to start implementing it as well, where you have to go up to a certain tier. The sweet spot tier is the Pure because you can still option a few features. But when you get into the Sensory, it's pretty much the Autograph, just deleting the softer interior seats for the first and second row, captain seats, and the diamond stitch or quilted stitch layout that's on the dash and on the first and second row. The third row is going to suffer, and you're not going to get that stitch work, nor is it going to be on the door panels. That's going to take me to some pros and cons, and starting with the pros is the value that I have more or less explained, because it's hard to get something in these prices with this amount of features. I mean, a 60 grand vehicle and you're getting massage seats. Just think about that. Some cons though is they don't give you full technology. When you go into Nissan, you actually get a little bit more technology for the gauge cluster. You'll see the turn-by-turn navigation. That's not going to be the case in the Infinitis, in which it's only a couple grand more than Nissan, but that's why I'm buying an Infiniti. Towing, I like that it is basically the best in class, because even if you go into the Kia Telluride or Hyundai Palisade, the max you're going to get is 5,500 pounds, and Genesis doesn't even make a third row variant. It doesn't feel heavy when you push the throttle, but it's not going to be like a sporty SUV. It's really more derived for luxury. But what I think is a big pro about the Infiniti is that you are encloaked with a lot more luxury for the value. I would like to see something like a Red Sport 400 though, because just imagine if you put 400 horses underneath this, threw in a twin turbo, the 3.0 liter, that thing would just be crazy fast. And maybe change the wheels and some of the aesthetics, give like a sports trim, kind of like the Q50, and I think that would nail right on the head the way this car should go. Will they do that? I don't know. That's why me personally, I did some aftermarket work, but I'm not going to do engine and transmission work because it's just not worth it when you're spending nearly $70,000. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Infiniti of Clearwater for giving us this 2024 Infiniti QX60 for our car review.